This is Massive, the world's largest cruiserweight, and you're watching and listening to Countdown City WrestleCast. I'm out.
Are we streaming? We good? Yay! What's up, heels and baby faces? Finally! Welcome to this week's episode of the Countdown City WrestleCast. Apologies about yesterday, but Restream was having issues and was out of our control. I'm your host, JC. Joining me this week is Tommy.
Hey, everybody.
And we got Mike.
What's up, guys? Welcome to a late night Countdown City WrestleCast here in 2022. Electric Boogaloo almost coming to an end. But we
Almost, yeah.
Dude, we're in October already. Jeez Louise, man.
Yeah, we're like halfway there, man.
Man. Oh.
So great show, guys.
It's Halloween that we're prepping. Yeah, I know. Yeah. It has been a long week, as you said, for sure. So much going on, and Lord, so much in the wrestling news too over the last week. We're gonna spend a little bit of time today talking about Impact Bound for Glory and WWE Extreme Rules, which for the first time in a long time I can say was an enjoyable pay-per-view.
Yeah,
it comes to Extreme Rules too as well. And there's a wealth of wrestling news to discuss as well, and we're just gonna kind of jump right into it because there's a lot, as I said. Stuff we were going to bring up yesterday, stuff we were trying to figure out why it's news. First, let's start with something, Mike, that you brought to our attention, is that a certain wrestler, Hall of Famer, is going to be on Disney Plus pretty soon.
About another story, and I was like, well, wrestling is pretty... Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Edge has been cast, and for what it's worth, I mean, he's been acting for quite a bit of pretty much the whole time that he had retired, and even kind of toward the end of his still active wrestling career, he was doing some stuff already acting. But he has been cast in the Disney Plus show Percy Jackson and the Olympians as Ares, the God of War.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm sure people are going to be comparing Edge to what's his face from Wonder Woman. Who's playing Ares?
The guy who played Lupin. Forget that. Edge is already.
I played
Lupin. I haven't even seen him. David Thewlis is his name.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited about this series. I mean, the Percy Jackson, the first movie was a bit disappointing, but honestly, when they did Sea of Monsters, and they didn't market it very well, but actually Sea of Monsters was way better, which is the second book, and unfortunately, because one, they didn't market it very well, because the first one was just it was going in the right direction. But I'm hopeful that the TV series gets it going in the right spot, and I'm sure we'll get 5 seasons.
I think Reardon has more of a hand in the series, doesn't he? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, I believe so. Mm-hmm. He does. Yeah. So I'm kind of just to see how successful this is, and if they make it, just move on to the next phase, which is the Roman gods, and go from there. So. I'm actually pretty excited about it. That series is actually a lot of fun. It's a great read.
JC, or maybe you might know this too, Tommy, but I'll throw this out there because I think both of y'all tried to watch as much of the CW shows as possible. The actress who played on The Flash buries their daughter for like a season, and she was like from the future.
Oh yeah,
married.
Steady might know because he's the Flash guy.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, so, I love the Flash.
Anyways, she's cast as not Morgana. No, the snake. No,
Annabelle?
the snake lady.
Oh, Medusa.
Medusa. Jesus Christ, thank you.
Medusa.
Yeah, I saw that.
Really?
Marie Parker,
Interesting.
something like that. I don't know exactly what. She's like a 3-name lady.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So I saw that too.
Okay.
So.
No, she is a very lovely person. Yes. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to everyone who.
Steady, we see you there. Yep.
Hey, Steady. I'm looking forward to everyone after the Flash is over still having jobs. They did such a great job on that show that I want them all to have jobs after the show.
Especially when somehow the
sure.
movie Flash has a job, but that's a whole nother podcast.
That is, and honestly, I think we should get on that
what's up,
one,
Bernsey?
Mike. Yeah,
what's up,
Bernsey? We should get on that one, Mike, with Steady, so we can complain about that for a while. So but yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be talking a lot on the Geekcast on Monday because season 1 of the Rings of Power, Lord of the Rings, was fantastic. Yeah, Steady and I discussed. I haven't been on the show to discuss it because they're talking about a whole bunch of the stuff that I need to catch on. But what I will say quickly, Steady, I was half right on a prediction. I thought I almost had it, but yeah, and we discussed it at work and stuff. So, but then of course there's also the post-credit scene to Black Adam that apparently leaked. So
I want to avoid it because I want to see Black Adam. Like I want to see it. Real quick. I became a Black Adam fan a few years ago, and when I heard The Rock, I was like, okay, all right, let's do this.
All I'm saying is if Black Adam.
By the way, if you haven't, I was gonna say if you haven't yet, go watch League of Super Pets. It's actually pretty hilarious, and there is a post-credit scene. There is a post-credit scene on League of Super Pets that is so hilarious, and it just really pokes fun at The Rock.
Oh God!
So just go check it out. Anyway,
actually, just to kind of bring it back to wrestling, I saw someone, since it's a Warner Brothers, movie and all that. I saw someone. Wouldn't it be hilarious if they had The Rock on AEW to promote Black Adam for the synergy of WB? I was like,
I mean,
it's possible. That's the weird part.
Right?
Could happen. It could happen. I don't see why not. Yeah, I mean,
still under a Legends contract. I wonder.
I don't.
Yeah, but if this is part of his standard promotion,
that'd be interesting.
Is as long as he's appearing as Dwayne Johnson, and not as The Rock. And
Dwayne
that sort of
Black Adam Johnson.
One more quick detour. There's this hilarious guy named Ace Vane, and he did a Captain Marvel, the old cartoon redub recently. And when he brought in Black Adam talked like The Rock, but he said the Black Adam and all that. I gotta send you guys that link. It's hilarious. Ace Vane's hilarious. So.
I just love it when wrestling mixes into other aspects of movies, shows, all that kind of stuff. It's great.
Yeah. Velvet Sky was making some rounds on Twitter yesterday because she basically I get it. Someone asked they're talking about the downfall of Impact Wrestling. First of all, I don't think Impact. Yes, it has fallen off to where it was, but it is getting back there in its own way. But she basically said, "Here, I'll explain it to you. It's because Dixie Carter knew what she's doing, and we lost the Spike TV deal." Look, honestly, Velvet. Can you put that in a memo and title it "Shit We Already Know"? Because we kind of knew that Dixie Carter screwed up. What the hell was going on with Impact Wrestling? Let's be honest here.
She said there were other issues and other mistakes, brother, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Once again, it's the same two people who we all blamed in the first place. Yeah. I laughed at that because we all knew it, but I'm just happy someone who was there finally said it out loud because I feel like a lot of people kind of skirted around it because to their credit, I think guys like Kurt Angle and AJ Styles are trying to be respectful and not outright call out Dixie for whatever reason. And God bless them. They're nice guys. I don't blame them for that. But also, thank you, Velvet. Thank you for just saying, you know what, screw it. I'll say it because I would be that guy. I'll be like, oh, you guys are being nice. That's a good thing. You guys keep being nice. That's a good thing that you guys are. I'm going to be the jackass and just say what everyone's thinking. It's Dixie's fault.
So in other words, wrestling show Tommy.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, wrestling show Tommy would absolutely explain why TNA does not have the venue it used to.
And you chanted during the whole match too.
Yeah, I would, and I would say the same thing twice. And Kylan King would tell me I said that already, and in which case I would. Sorry, that was my favorite moment. I didn't even remotely care that joke didn't land. I was like, I'm glad. Kylan King noticed me. It's all that really mattered.
It worked.
Okay. I got a question for you guys. Why in the world was Eva Marie trending?
Well, we know why. And so the first question is
really
easy to answer. The second question, I assume you're going to attach to that. That's a much deeper question that we need.
Yeah, who the fuck cares?
Oh, that's a good question. So, well, no, okay, so
let's start with why she was trending. Go for it.
I was just gonna say, well, she's trending because, I mean, okay, this is gonna sound really bad, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Again, wrestling show, Tommy. Yes, she's very pretty and aesthetically pleasing to look at, but that's Instagram as a whole. So
that's not true. I'm on Instagram.
Yeah. but so am I. I said okay, as a whole, minus a few parts, me being one of them. So, but no, it's like here's I'll put it this way. As an on-screen personality, she's not the worst. Brad Maddox still has that title, and no one will ever take that away from him. As a wrestler, she's the worst, hands down. I if she wants to come back, I kind of get it, but does she really? I don't remember her being that thrilled the last time she was around. I'm just,
I'm going to be honest. So just so we're clarify, because we haven't actually said, she posted a video to social media the other day, out of nowhere, where she had, first of all, she had Lily, Alexa Bliss's doll when she was with the Fiend, and she's like in her kitchen and she shoots it into her trash can and she says, "If I make this, I'm going back to wrestling." And it hits, like, the lid's up and it hits the lid and it looks like it's about to rebound into the trash, and then it cuts to that new, well, y'all know the usual Bray Wyatt like little thing, but this has like a weird upside down butterfly moth with other things that I'm sure in there if people dissect the picture and look at all the little images in it. But it cut to that, and so of course people are like, "Oh, is she coming back to the Wyatt?" I don't think so. I honestly believe this is just part of them trolling all these different people that have been rumored to come back or be a part of his group. I think it did exactly what it meant to do. Us talk about it. And I would assume, even if she's not back with the company, I have a feeling they're on good terms in general. Like, so if they offered, like, "Hey, do this for us for just, a little hype," because I mean, and granted, I live in a little wrestling bubble. I haven't heard much from her since she left. I assume she's doing modeling, TV related things or something, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, my thing is that, I'm sure her relationship with the company is good, because I don't think her relationship with the company was ever the problem. It was her connection with the fans she didn't have. Like, and that's where I kind of feel bad, because it's like, I'm sure she herself is a fine person. Like, I'm sure, like, she's a lovely person and nice and everything. She just can't wrestle for crap. so that's the problem. It's like it's not her as a person. I don't this is again where toxic fan bases, I can't say. It's like, I don't want anything bad to happen to her. I don't like people are like, "Oh, I wish she like, no, that's terrible. I don't know her as a person to say anything like that. And even if I did, I still don't think I would ever say something like that. But I just don't want her to wrestle anymore. That's my thing.
No. She's just so honestly annoyed. I was just annoyed by watching her wrestling because she never She never knew how to sell. A big profile move, and she's like, immediately just trying to like roll out of the way out, not even selling the injury. So, yeah, it's
but
insane.
Again,
so
it was a troll job for us to do exactly this.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. All right, let's kind of bring the mood back up, shall we? And also dealing with women's wrestling. Roxanne Perez, who we have known for years as Roxy, made her debut on SmackDown this evening, guys. Big congrats to her. We're also very proud of her.
And I don't know if I assume you didn't really get much to watch it. Had quite a bit of time with Bayley one-on-one in the ring. It was part of a 6-woman tag, but the finish kind of revolved around her and Bayley. Did you see like kind of all the stuff, or have you seen clips of like what?
I saw like the backstage interview. We haven't seen clips of the match itself.
Right.
My son had a couple of baseball games tonight.
So this all connects back to NXT, where her and Cora Jade are going to be fighting at Halloween Havoc or whatever it is, and they have a pick your poison match.
Yeah.
So they each get to choose the other's opponent from anyone. They're going main roster, obviously. So Roxanne was backstage with Shotzi and Raquel, and she told Raquel she chose her to face Cora Jade. And right after that, Bailey shows up with Damage Control, and was being her usual, like, why are you so stupid? Why did you pick me? I'm, Bailey. And she's like, well, Roxanne was like, well, you haven't really been on much of a winning streak lately, which was pretty good. I was like, oh, okay.
I did see that.
So, she's like, oh, that's it, you idiot. I'm gonna set up the 6th woman. Also kind of cool because Roxanne got to make her SmackDown debut on Shotzi's Tank. So that's also cool. Pretty cool. Yeah.
Very cool. And final bit of wrestling is I'll say, guys, we know now when AEW is returning to San Antonio, December 21st, back at the Freeman Coliseum. AEW will be filming Dynamite and Rampage there the Wednesday before Christmas. Hint, hint for anybody looking to give me a Christmas gift. Back at the Freeman Coliseum, I'm excited. I'm pretty sure we'll be going there because the tickets, quite frankly, would be a lot more affordable than the
cheaper than the Rumble.
And I'll have more on. Yes, hashtag cheaper than the Rumble. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, it doesn't work that way. I'll have more of my thoughts about the Rumble when we get to 1 minute warning. So that's a little bit of tease for you guys for later on this evening. So yes. All right. Let's move into Impact Bound for Glory. We're going to go a little bit more in depth like we did because obviously we did this show last Friday.
Yeah.
The event had just happened. Doing the biggest pay-per-view in Impact's calendar on a Friday night was just so weird to me. Full disclosure, I got to see a lot of highlights, and I'm just going to say this right now. What I have seen, this definitely was probably the show of the year for Impact. And that's saying a lot because there's a bit, like we've been saying, Impact has been killing it on the pay-per-views this year. And this one really, really was something special. Just what pointing it out, what I saw from the highlights. I think the Bully Ray segment we talked about, very awesome. Josh Alexander, Eddie Edwards damn near went for 30 minutes. And just kind of picking up on that, Bully Ray made it clear on Impact last night on Thursday to Josh Alexander, I'm not going to do what Moose did. I'm not going to blindside you while your family's in the ring.
Yes, he would.
You're going to see it coming. So it was almost like a face Bully Ray type promo, What do you think about it? Because
sorry. I was going to say, I have to agree with Steve Macklin when he came out and said, really? You're going to trust that? I'm like, yeah, sorry, fam. You burned that bridge one time too many. We were in San Antonio at lockdown when you hit Jeff Hardy. I don't trust Bully Ray, not a damn bit. I don't remotely care. Nope. Sorry, Bully Ray.
To be fair, that whole Aces and Eights thing was amazing.
You know what's amazing about that? It's like all that right there when it happened, it was like they could really get this to the moon if they push it right after this moment. In that moment, it was perfect. And of course, Dixie Carter was still a thing, so that's why it didn't work out the way it should have.
See, but it went good for a couple episodes of Impact because that moment was perfect. You had the few episodes where Bully's explaining how they planned this all out, and then after that, it was like, it was just like such a disappointment. But yeah, I'm interested to see how they run this out.
I think you could have said that Aces and Eights walked so that Disruption could run.
I think you could not say that because if that was that wasn't a run that Disruption did, that was a light stumble. They kind of jogged.
Let me just ask this question.
I agree with Jason, by the way.
Did we make fake Aces and Eights Twitter profiles?
I know.
Or did we make fake Disruption profiles for Twitter?
I know I bought Aces and Eights shirts, so still got them somewhere.
I bought not anything from Disruption.
Yeah, I'm saying, yeah, I dare you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, we were ready to cry cut our own things, and then it just kind of went away. It wasn't so disrupting anymore. Yeah, Jason, I just flashed your comment up there. Masha Slime versus Jordan Grace was great. Yeah, I've seen a lot of good reviews from that. The Kingdom retaining the tag team championships, and by the way, I believe they just showed up on AEW tonight.
They showed up on Rampage.
Yes,
I'm assuming they're
amazing, huh?
They're becoming part of the new ROH once it finally gets its own thing. But yeah,
which has me wondering, like, how much of this little talent share is going on between Impact and
they left. Their Impact stuff was done.
They still have the tag titles though.
Did they drop the titles? Did I miss that? They still have the tag team championships.
Yeah, they still do. I think.
Yeah, they still won't. Unless they dropped it on Thursday and I missed it.
Actually,
but
I
dropped them. Right? Yeah, I don't think they did. I think they're done with Impact.
Oh yeah, they did. They dropped to Heath and Rhino.
Okay.
Yeah, my bad, guys.
I missed that too.
Yeah, you can tell you how busy the weekend is. I'm kind of behind on what titles are held by who. So, yeah, interesting. Well, before they left, they got to win over the Motor City Machine Gun. So. And unfortunately, I believe that takes out 2 members of Honor No More.
Them and Maria, and then I think there's interest in more from what I've heard, because I think most of them are done with their Impact stuff from what I had seen.
This goes back to what the thing I sent you guys a couple of days ago, thanks to Joe Cabana from Several Wrestling. Jason's right, because
and even non-ROH talent like Jericho, but that's another story.
Yeah, that's another story. But I really do think, because apparently Warner Brothers and Discovery are extremely happy with everything AEW is doing.
Right.
I mean, to me, it's like, the backstage stuff sucks, but their arenas are still full. You still got crowds buying the merch, so it's not all bad, clearly. And I like that he is trying to, now that I think because the rumor is he's trying to get them, if not on network TV, then at least on HBO Max. That's the rumor. Right. So that, because that way he can put all the old ROH stuff on there too, which is what he really wants to do, is get another Honor network again. So, and if they're close to that, then what better time than show off all that talent that you got than right now? Which also, if we get,
Jason, I was going to say that after he was done talking, sir.
Which also, if we get Bandito on TV on a regular again, sign me the freak up, because I love that dude. He's so good.
Yeah. No, JC, I was going to share this with you because I thought this would pique your interest too.
I'm definitely going to let my wife know, because she loves the peacockness of Dalton Castle. But yeah,
no, just real quick. What I need in that match is the boys versus 3.0 shenanigans around the ring.
Oh my God, yes,
that's what I need around the ring during that match.
I want that as much as I wanted the Briscoes and FTR. I'm not kidding. I want this match so bad. That would be so cool.
HBO Max, as Jay said, yeah, for sure. I think that's a good path to go, and might even transition. I mean, if it does well with Ring of Honor's library be on HBO Max, which I'm okay with because I have HBO Max. I think it could potentially show, hey,
and I'm almost like, what would it hurt to just have a little, like you look at it now, they have the little like, oh, here's the DC stuff, here's the HBO original, here's the Ghibli, Ghibli Studio or
Ghibli
whatever.
Studios,
Amulet, just here's AEW/ROH. People want to go to it, they can go to it. They don't have to.
They kind of do have that. I mean, it's actually like well set up, and I mean,
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, and HBO Max can be organized that way too.
I feel like this is again where for all the mistakes Tony Khan makes, like, you can tell his heart's still in the right place, because I feel like he had all these guys kind of waiting in the wings until he knew for sure that he was going to get to use them more, like, with the embassy, and the embassy's back. Prince Nana is back in wrestling. That makes me so happy. So, but you got the embassy, you got and guys like Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia, who if they are the first main event of the first show, I'm 10,000% behind, because I can't name 2 bigger stars in the past year who came up out of almost nowhere than those two.
Real quick before I answer Jason's question, let's get this back to Bound for Glory. Brian Myers did defeat Dirty Dango, formerly Fandango.
That name is so crazy.
To retain the Digital Media Championship. Yeah, no. Frankie Kazarian beat Mike Bailey for the X Division Championship and has already cashed in his option C. I believe the pay-per-view is the third weekend of November for Impact, and he's going to be.
Oh, it's not. Oh, no, you're right.
I think Josh Alexander will beat him. I don't think it'll be hard to kill.
Yeah, it's Overdrive, and it's a Impact Plus event. I think this is the very first Impact Overdrive. It's an Impact Plus event on November 18th, and first match already signed: Josh Alexander versus Frankie Kazarian, who has cashed in option C for the X Division Championship. So that is on the way there. Mickey James is still wrestling. Beat Mia Yim. This is basically almost like the whole Ric Flair stipulation. Once you lose, you can't wrestle anymore, right? How much longer do we think this goes, and who do you think is the one that beats her?
That's the thing.
I have a theory.
Okay, go for it.
My theory is she works her way into a title shot with Jordynne Grace, and Jordynne Grace beats her. That's my theory.
That could work.
Yeah, and I feel like that would be the hardest 3 count ever. I feel like Jordynne Grace will just break out into tears because I feel like all of us will. So,
I think that's a great idea. I just wonder, would you bring someone back from her past? Because you keep taking it back to Flair. Flair didn't necessarily put over the young guy, even though he had 7 more retirement matches after that. He's still not. Never mind. But it was him and Sean. But him and Sean, legends of the business at that point, had a pretty decent history between them. Would you bring someone? I mean,
you bring in Patricia Strategarius to face her one. You can't.
Just as long as you don't bring in Tessa Blanchard, because that didn't exactly work out when she.
I don't think
there's any last match
under which Impact is thinking of bringing her back.
No.
Yeah, I think that ship has long since sailed into an iceberg. Anyway,
Velvet Sky, right? Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how much further. Mickey can still go for sure. I think the Jordynne Grace idea is actually really, really good idea. So for sure. Death Dolls, by the way, are the new Impact Knockouts tag team champions, Jessica and Taya Valkyrie. Which is funny on this cast because we know Tommy loves Jessica and my wife hates Taya Valkyrie.
So basically, all that means is it's a win for me.
Because you like upsetting Tina? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, well, you like it more than I do. So
it's been a while. No, I'm just kidding.
but I also like Taya Valkyrie too, so that's actually kind of where it's weird because it's for all her to stay for. I'm like, I think she's okay. So
now, I guess we'll get to Jason's question. Does HBO Max show live shows?
I haven't heard doing that, not off the top of my head.
I want to say they were trying to get a sports option there. I don't know if they don't really advertise major live shows, but they have the capability to do it. For sure. Yeah. So, so I'm pretty sure they would make it work if they needed to.
Wait, and then still living in the city? Is that what you mean?
I'm assuming.
Well, they had that Pro Wrestling Element show this past Sunday. I didn't get to go. I had we celebrated my wife's birthday at my parents' house, so I didn't get to go. But apparently, I think that's her and Daga's deal, and I think she still works with Hybrid a lot, from what I understand. So
yes,
yeah,
keeping her busy. So, all right. Well, I don't think any of us saw the full Bound for Glory show yet. So it's not comfortable rating, but I will say just from what I've seen, and I do plan to sit down and watch it. The reviews have been amazing for this show, and I plan to sit down and watch it. It's the biggest event of the year. It's kind of sucks because so far for the rest of the year they've only announced one Impact Plus show, and I almost feel like with Impact, God, I almost wanted the pay-per-view for the end of the year. Come on, give me something. It's I know it's October, but give this something to kind of get the year going again. And I know the Kingdom's now left. I think Impact did such a great job post ROH using some of that talent and everything, but I have some concerns about AEW and WB kind of looking for their talent pool, but I think Impact will be okay. I think they're in a good spot, and as long as they have the writing's going well, the promos go well, the matches go well, I think they're in a good
Bully
spot.
Ray around too long. Make it a.
No,
I know we kind of passed on that earlier.
Past the end of the year. Mm-hmm.
I mean this. Well, I guess it's not going to really be my 1 minute warning, but there's just some people that like they're diminishing returns for me, and I feel like he's kind of one of them. Like,
yeah.
I've seen it a bunch. It usually winds up controversy with some people somewhere. Like, it's not.
I think he's back really mainly.
I'm sure he is, and I assume that's what would go down.
Yeah.
But after you said he made that that like almost face speech, what if he cashes in after the Frankie Kazarian match at the next show after all that? Because no one, like we all said, like no one trusts him. Like, of course you don't.
Yeah.
That would almost be like perfect him.
Yeah.
After a grueling match with Kazarian, and then I lied. Here you go.
I feel like,
and I'm going to kick your kid
all
just
right.
because.
Yeah. No, I feel like Steve Maclin is probably their next heir apparent because they've been really pushing him lately. And honestly, now that I get to see him on his own, I'm kind of for it. Like, because he's been impressing me ever since he really started doing his own thing. So
you're biased, Tommy, not because of his wrestling ability, because of his smart marrying ability.
Okay, first of all, I have
I agree with you
for that part. Let me be perfectly clear. On that instance, mad respect because my dude, do the damn thing. I ain't mad at you. I'm mad at you, but not mad at you. Anyway, damn it, Mike. So, you brought it up.
All right, let's move into Extreme Rules, guys. And like I said it from the top,
show we cared about.
Such a great show. Yeah, it was actually one like you said we did care about. I mean, how many like previous years we thought this was crap.
At least the last
two with no matches with any stipulation.
Yeah, at least the last two. I remember not giving a damn about. I can't even tell you what happened in the last two Extreme Rules, but this one had my complete attention.
Can you tell me one match from the 2021 or 2020 Extreme Rules?
I can't tell you when that. I can't even tell you when they happened.
Wasn't one of them the whole? Was it one of them some like Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt?
Was that the one where he drowned in the lake? Was that Extreme Rules?
Yeah,
I forgot when that happened.
The horror show Extreme Rules or something. It was the horror show Extreme Rules.
Oh yeah, that was last. See, I forgot that was the thing.
I think that was 2020, which, by the way, that was the worst pay-per-view we rated in 2020.
By the way, JC, this is why you're the host and we're not, because I forgot that even happened.
Yeah. It's not something I want to remember. It was one of those so bad I have to remember it.
It's one of your trauma memories.
Yeah. But let's get into this show. Quickly, I'll just kind of go through the results and we'll kind of dive into what we want to talk about. Brawling Brutes did defeat Imperium.
So much fun.
Ronda Rousey defeated Liv Morgan by technical submission for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Karrion Kross defeated Drew McIntyre in a strap match. Bianca Belair defeats Bayley in a ladder match for the Raw Women's Championship. Finn Balor defeats Edge in the I Quit match. And, of course, Matt Riddle defeated Seth Rollins by submission in the Fight Pit match with Daniel Cormier as the special guest referee.
Okay.
Mike, we'll start with you. Like a couple questions. One, what match really stood out to you the most? And what results? I already know this because I'm going to give you an obvious softball here. What result was the most disappointing?
Well, we'll start with the first one. And I think there's kind of two matches that really stuck out. One was the Brawling Brutes versus Imperium.
For sure.
Because even with the third Brawling Brute that I don't like to mention much, held his own for what it was worth in that match. I don't know how like Sheamus has hit this fountain of youth. When they were like seriously, like remember it was like 3 years ago they were like he has some like bad back or something and he may be forced to retire soon.
Yeah, I remember that.
And like resurrected himself and doing his damnedest to like, not that you need to put Walter over, but to just put on amazing matches with him. And then you get all 6 of these guys together and there's random barrels and shillelaghs and weapons and
a good old-fashioned Donnybrook it is. I never did look up where that came from, by the way. I completely forgot.
But that one, and then of course the Raw Women's ladder match, of course, Bayley and Bianca, both of them putting on a great show. Obviously, that kind of leads into the second question. It was a bit disappointing to me. I thought, in general, that like the storyline was Damage Control really taking over. And now they've kind of done an interesting thing where she lost that match, and then on Raw, Candice LeRae rolled her up and got a pin on her.
That's kind of the what are they doing with Bayley? I mean, this is supposed to be this big, stable Damage Control. They haven't really got any wins under their belt, so it's almost like is this kind of a joke here? Like,
tag titles now. They had some wins. It was just this little blip of this week where Bayley didn't win the ladder match and then lost that. Now, that's like I said earlier on SmackDown, that's one of the things Roxanne used against her. And then, like Jason mentioned, also she had to pick a SmackDown superstar. I think that was why he had that comment about that. But and see, here's the other thing, though. In previous years, I would have been like pretty much done at this point, like you said. But I give Triple H some. Let me see. Like, let's see what happens. Maybe this is going to lead to something. Maybe it's just a few minute losses, and then they'll come back strong. Maybe they add a new member real soon to kind of strengthen the ranks. So I'm intrigued. I'm not ready to be like, I'm done with it.
I feel like Triple H is intentionally giving out like feelers and string to make you think that was going to happen immediately. I also feel like it was twofold. Like A, he wanted everyone to think immediately Bayley would win the title, but also B, let Bianca shine some more. I feel like that was like the twofold. And really, I feel like this is one of the cases, just like and I know we have a list of people we say this about. Like, we say it about like Jay White, MJF, Bray Wyatt, ironically. Bayley doesn't need a win and or a title to be the most over person who walks into a building. Like, and a loss doesn't hurt her. As a matter of fact, it just means that, okay, we got to wait till she wins. That's all. So I feel like that moment that Bianca won was just like, like Triple H saying, "Ha, got you guys. You thought I was going to let you win or let her win right away. Ha, you're wrong. I'm going to make you wait for it. Because you know why? Because I can't win any more championships, and I'm going to say what everyone else gets to win." Oh, by the way, I looked at the term Donnybrook. Apparently, it was a fair in Ireland that was known for getting drunk and violent all the time, to the point where they had to stop doing the fair. So,
makes sense.
Yeah, it was in the town of Donnybrook in Ireland. So, I couldn't stand it. It was driving me crazy. I had to know where that term came from.
Ladder matches are always fun. I think that one stood out to me as probably one of the definitely the best match of the night for sure. I potentially for that I Quit match, which went crazy. I think what do you put? Oh, hang on, let me get here. Watch.
Oh God, Jason! Damn it.
Oh Lord!
Damn it,
wow.
Jason! He's probably.
Have they even set up what's going to be?
No, the only literally it's Roman and what's his name, Logan Paul is the only match so far.
Logan Paul, that's it, right? Yeah. So, I have a theory with it related to this Bianca and Bayley thing here. Most of the time, when someone wins the Rumble, there's a bit of excitement. There's almost like a face turn. It's the face is leading the chase, right? The face wins the Rumble, the chase for the title. What if they kind of swerve it? What if the face is the champion, Bayley wins the Rumble, and she's the one chasing the title, but still being a heel? Would that be like an intriguing way to have a heel challenger at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's title?
Hold on, JC. Did you ask this question about Bayley and expect me to go, no, that would be kind of crap? I would. Yes. Give me Bayley and Emmy.
I know it would be, but here's the
if you want to speak
I'd
in
be
general,
for it,
okay, but it's Bailey, of course.
I know Bailey, of course, but to like the casual fan, like this would be an interesting thing. You don't really see that with Rumble.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You don't really see that normally with a Rumble winner.
Been a while.
It's always usually
Sean was a heel when he won it.
Yeah.
The first time, but that was way back in the 90s.
Yeah.
You had like Del Rio a face?
Del Rio was heel. He was heel when he won it. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're right.
I mean,
more often than not.
Roman Reigns was heel the first time, whether he wanted to be or not.
Well, to Vince McMahon, he was a face. To literally everyone else in the world, not so much.
Yeah.
No, but I see what you're saying. It would be tough. So definitely not something I don't think they've done in a while, right?
And
no, not in recent history, and something they definitely haven't done on the women's side.
Actually, speaking of women, didn't Charlotte win it kind of in the same way of Roman Reigns, where Vince was convinced he's a face and everyone else knew she was a heel? Isn't that the way she won it a couple years?
Kind of, sort of, yeah. And then it was like she was getting booed. But I forget who she faced.
Was that the one that was that the COVID year?
Was it the three-way? Was it the three-way year?
No, because
Becky won that year.
Charlotte won and faced Rhea for NXT title in when the COVID, the one like
that's
they had
COVID
in the 36 was it 36?
Yeah,
36.
Yeah. Jason says, "Nah, Becky will win the Rumble."
You know what?
To
go back, that's another disappointing.
It's a disappointing
it is a good segue. Thanks, Jason.
But I kind of like how they did it. I can't.
You just like her smiling in pain.
Okay.
That's all it was.
It's not her smiling in pain. It's Liv smiling. Period. That makes my day. The context of the smile is irrelevant. But I'm kidding.
Actually, it might be specifically relevant. But anyways,
yeah.
My thing on that, Jason, your theory with Bianca.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say it just makes Liv come off as a badass. I mean, yeah, she took the punishment.
She didn't tap.
Kind of like laughing. She kind of entered what I call Scott Summers Joker territory. You guys remember when Scott Summers would laugh whenever he got his ass kicked? Because to this day, there's something wrong with Scott Summers. So
Well, yes, but that where's the line of shoot works? So, but I was also going to say NXT Nikki. When they had her like crazy, Nikki would do stuff like that.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Back to Jason's comment about Becky Lynch winning the Rumble facing Ronda. I don't think you need Becky Lynch to win the Rumble to get to that point, And I think with Bayley's return, and obviously they're gonna do this whole gets there, maybe has a losing streak here and there, but it's like she hasn't won the Rumble in her career. That would be pretty awesome to see, and honestly, having this sort of different sort of storyline.
So back to the original question. Cool, yes, Bailey, definitely. All for it.
Yeah.
That's what I was kind of thinking.
She
did a similar thing when she got to be crazy Nikki, which
so
I think that's another thing that they haven't done in a while, but hopefully she would start moving back toward that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so is Nikki Cross gonna go crazy again? Liv Morgan's gonna stay crazy. They're gonna be like the Crazy Sisters or something because because I gotta to say, if that's the plan, thank God for Triple H, because that man knows what's up.
All right. Let's get into our pick results from this event. Tommy went 2-4, Mike 3-3, and I went.
I'm surprised I did that well. Yeah. When I saw the results, I was like, wow, I was wrong.
I mean, you got Matt Riddle correct, and
Bianca.
Who else did you correct?
The
Brawling Brutes. Yeah. He missed every single one. Yeah. He picked Edge wrong. He picked Drew. Yep. Picked Liv, and then he picked Bayley.
I was wrong.
Yep. So let's get into our WrestleCast ratings for Extreme Rules. And if you are watching at home, definitely let us know 0 to 5. 5 being WrestleMania 17, 0 being December to Dismember. And Tommy, we'll start with you. What is your rating for Extreme Rules 2022?
To be fair, and I'm going to include this and part of the rating was the Bray Wyatt return. I can't not include that for making the show historic. I gotta give it a 4.5. Mm-hmm. I really do. For a show I could not have cared less about for the past 2 years, Triple H somehow put pen to paper and help and let the producers or whoever agents were booking who helped book this, he let them go, and it turned into just a showcase of what WWE can be when they are putting their best foot forward, which I felt like they haven't in the past couple of years. I got to be honest. This felt like a definite return to form. It's like I'd said before on the show, WWE should not be struggling to put on good wrestling shows. They should be the standard everyone else tries to meet. Like they should be. They've been doing this long. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we could get that soon. And that's not meant to be a criticism to other wrestling companies. That's meant to say, yes, thank you. That's what got you guys to the dance in the first place. Do that more often. So, yeah, I got to get a 4.5 to just, be perfectly fair. Yeah.
All right. Mike, what about you?
I'm going to agree with Tommy there. I think I'm going to go the same 4.5. We didn't even really get to talk into the main event,
which was also
Riddle
crazy.
Versus Seth Rollins. And, we talk a lot about, who's the best wrestler in the world right now. Is it Bryan Danielson? Is it Moxley? Is it Omega? And I think partially because it's WWE and we don't take its wrestling as seriously because of the sports entertainment, Seth Rollins might be the most underappreciated man in wrestling right now because he just goes in there, kills it.
Yeah.
Amazing. And honestly, I felt like if you took him out of his character, because obviously his character is over the top, like he shows up at this one dressed like RVD. I assume to make fun of 420 stuff with Matt Riddle. I guess that was supposed to be the connection, right? And he's done that thing for about a year now of like dressing up in things related to his opponents when he dressed up in his Shield gear versus Roman.
The Shield thing was my favorite.
He dressed up in the Halloween Havoc Mysterio-like gear.
Yeah.
So the character kind of makes you forget he could probably go in there and have as much of a chance, at that top spot with Bryan Danielson, Omega, Moxley, anybody. Yeah, exactly, Jason. Still line there. Exactly. And he put on a great match, made Riddle look great. I mean, Riddle's obviously good on his own.
Yeah.
Put in a hell of a performance, and he's just kind of been doing that for the last 2 years or so at least.
I bring this all the way back to his indie days when he first debuted at ROH, no one knew who he was except for unless you knew him from the territory or the promotions he was in. And then he just would just start rising up the ranks and just having better matches and better matches. I feel like it's a case of he's so good, you forget it because you're used to it until you until you stop and really realize that, yeah, he's got this over-the-top character that's so different from everything he's ever done before. I like no matter how far back you trace his career, but that doesn't mean his quality. To me, it's like he did the thing where Okada does. He sometimes takes the focus off his wrestling to look like he's bad, but it's like he's one of the guys who's like, how good are you when looking bad takes effort? It's like, I have to tone it down. I can't do every single. Fine, I won't do all the stuff I know I can do easily. So yeah, but Seth Rollins, man, you're right. He's easy Hall of Famer. No doubt about it. 10, 20 years, he's going in, and people who don't like him, hey, that's on you, bro. Sounds like a personal problem.
My rating for Extreme Rules 4.75. It was really enjoyable.
Price is right.
Yeah, I really did. No, it's not. I mean, 4.51. No, I think the event was great. I mean, obviously the Rousey lived. That result was the strap match for what it was good. It's hard to make.
Yeah.
It's really hard to do some of the strap match. It's when those come on the card, I'm like, okay, this is probably the shortest match of the night. But the rest of it really picked up, and what pushed it over, just gave it that little extra, was the Bray Wyatt return. So amazing, so well done, and leaving so much open for the future. Some of which we saw glimpses of on SmackDown tonight. We'll see. So that gives our overall rating on Extreme Rules to 4.58, guys.
It's going to be miles higher than what the last 2 years were.
Oh yeah, whatever.
Well, let me kind of point this out to you. As I said, in 2020, our rating of Extreme Rules was 3.25. Good enough for the worst show we watched in 2020. And if I go back to 2019, we actually gave that a 4.3125. Sorry, that was a decent show. 2021, where is it? I'm looking right here. Extreme Rules was 3.75. The second worst show of the year, only to SummerSlam, which was 3.67 that year.
Awesome. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember specifically hating last year's SummerSlam for sure.
So, I feel like this last year, and obviously the Extreme Rules wasn't that great, but I remember watching a lot of WWE pay-per-views going, you know what? The matches aren't bad. The wrestlers are putting they're all into it. I just don't have interest in the way this WWE product is presented. And I feel now since the switch to Triple H, it's almost the opposite. Like, we're interested in what they're doing. It's okay if some of the matches don't hit, because overall you still have an interest in a bunch of the things going on. The stories aren't dumb. You're getting a lot less, like we've talked about, of those like, this was literally just done to make Vince McMahon laugh and no other reason. And it makes a difference,
Yeah.
Again, haven't been perfect. They've still had some missteps, but leagues ahead of what it's been over the last couple years.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right. As far as the future going on here, we know Crown Jewel's around the corner. We know that's Logan Paul, Roman Reigns. The Bray story is going to be interesting, and it's so unpredictable. But I love with Bray how creative a mind he is, how much influence we'll see. So that's what's kind of on the horizon for WWE. Again, Crown Jewel is in a couple weeks. Actually, 3 weeks away now?
I don't know. I'm not good at math.
1, 2, 3 weeks. Yeah, I believe so.
You better be.
Yeah, I believe it's 3 weeks away.
I just got to be better than the kids.
You know what? I just got to be better writer than the Suicide Tutor. Correct, sir.
Yeah. But I think they're really going to push once Crown Jewel is over. Survivor Series is taking on the War Games moniker that has hit the main roster with Triple H's involvement now. I'm very happy to see that. It's not just going to be.
You know what's crazy with that? So. It's almost you assume there'll probably be like NXT, like a men and women's one, and now it's like who's going to be in those matches. I feel like there's so many different potential things you can throw into those with what's going on now. You're almost going to be like, oh, who's going to be lucky enough to get that? Like you assume maybe the Bloodline without Roman versus, I don't know, maybe Brawling Brutes or a group that starts getting put together, face them, Damage Control versus, a group of faces, something like that. But just throwing that War Games into Survivor Series just, again, adds to the excitement of what we're looking forward to.
Oh, did you see Jason's question?
Jason's question, by the way, if we're getting Rock versus Roman at Mania, what are they going to do with the Rumble winner? I'm not entirely convinced we'll get that. I still think Cody's going to win and challenge Roman Reigns. Now, if they do end up setting up Rock versus Roman at Mania, maybe the Rumble winner gets to compete for one of Roman's titles. I don't know.
The winner of the Rumble will get to win the championship, but Rock versus Roman will be for the title of head of the table.
Yeah. They'll make a new belt for that
too.
Actually, so yeah. All right, with that, guys, let's move into our 1 minute warning segment here. Mike, did you have something this week? All right, whenever you're ready, sir.
All right, I don't want to shock too many people, but it's not going to be about Bayley or Claudio mostly. It actually goes over to AEW, and there's two storylines that I'm a little disappointed in, and I want to give them a little more time to see if they switch, but I don't really like the things that have happened. So Jamie Hayter and Daniel Garcia have both kind of basically been in a very similar storyline in that they're attached to a group. Fans were getting behind them. They were teasing turning against them. Daniel Garcia literally teamed with Bryan Danielson last week. And then for some reason on Dynamite this past week, hit Bryan Danielson with the ROH belt, helped Jericho retain, and seems to have stayed with the Jericho Appreciation Society. Jamie Hayter, same thing. Looked like she was ready to turn after Britt cost her the match with the interim title and that 4-woman. And then she came back and helped Britt beat down some people. I don't know if they're like fake turn just to eventually do a real turn. A little disappointed. I usually give AEW credit for their storylines and give them chances. If Daniel Garcia and Jamie Hayter stay where they're at, I'm going to be real disappointed because it was clear they were ready to make that turn and break off. I was really thinking they were going to add Daniel Garcia to Blackpool Combat Club. I know William Regal says we like to have opponents like that so we can fight the best, but you imagine Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia as like their young tag team. Yeah. Oh, also,
right.
I didn't get to see all of it, but on Rampage, Moxley and Claudio tagged against Butcher and the Blade, and there was a spot where Butcher and the Blade were trying to do their suplex tag, like so one of them suplexes over, then Blade catches him almost like, and he's laid. Claudio just goes, grabs Moxley, and takes him away, like carries him over and puts him down to rescue him. And I was like, every match. So I brought it back to Claudio, of course.
Sorry, I brought it back to Claudio.
Yeah, exactly, Jason. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Everybody wanted Daniel Garcia, and like they wanted like a female member. Yeah, it would have been perfect. So, and again, there's still time. Maybe the idea is it's the fake, and then eventually it happens for real. But I don't know. I'm a little disappointed because I feel like the Daniel Garcia one went there, and then they pulled it back. So we'll see.
I was going to pick it back up. I just feel like for Jamie Hayter, hers is going to come when she really can screw over Britt Baker, and I feel like for Daniel Garcia, they might be playing something bigger for him, like maybe like they might want to have a bigger feud with Daniel Bryan, but we'll see.
That, or maybe he's the one who takes the belt off Jericho once they get there.
That would be awesome.
That's kind of my thought, as if they were trying to save it, but yeah.
All right, Tommy, do you got something this week?
You can also have a 3-minute warning. So.
All right. Go ahead, Tommy. Ready, set,
First, I want to say rest in peace to Katsuya Kitamura, a former young lion of New Japan. He passed away suddenly today at age of 36. Prayers and everything to his family, his fans, his friends, all that. Great guy. He got injured, so he didn't actually wrestle for very long. He went into bodybuilding and was doing great in that arena. I haven't heard anything about a cause of death, but if that comes out, it does. If it doesn't, that's his family's business, and I'm not trying to get into nobody's family business because they got a hard enough time right now anyway. But I also want to shout out, I'm looking for it, Dan Reed, who I think he runs, Pro Wrestling Eve, or is part of Pro Wrestling Eve. He called out indie promoters specifically, but I think he was calling out wrestling as a whole, to have more women's matches. He called out, but he specifically called out indie promotions and say you have 3 to 4 hour shows. He's calling them all to have 1 hour of women's wrestling each. He's calling it the 1 hour challenge. That's what he's calling it. And I personally think that's a fantastic idea. I mean, there's so much talent. I mean, we've said it before. There are plenty of people say it a ton. And I'm sure, and of course, everyone's already made the AEW joke, because that's such low hanging fruit. You practically step on it when you walk by the tree. But he's got a point though. For all the low hanging, for all the jokes you can make, the man's got a point. There is definitely a case where you can have that. Stardom has proven this. I say all the time, I keep waiting. I keep waiting for my checks to be a little bit better, and hopefully that'll happen soon. To get Stardom World, because I need to go back and see the entire 5-star Grand Prix, because many people have been calling it the best wrestling tournament this year, and I'm not surprised by that. So sorry, I know I'm probably into 2-minute warning now, but yeah. So props to Dan for calling people out. I mean, hey, sometimes that's how you affect change by saying clearly, like Velvet Sky, what everyone was already thinking. So Dan Reed and Velvet Sky chose violence this week, and I am happy for them.
All right. Mine, I mentioned earlier in the show. Let's get talking about this. There was so much excitement on this show when we knew the Royal Rumble was coming to San Antonio some years earlier than usual. Mm-hmm. Look, and I get tickets are going fast. I can understand it. I'm disappointed that I unfortunately will not be attending it in person. And it's not just the ticket prices. Well, maybe it could be the ticket prices, but the biggest thing that has been disappointing is finding out that the Royal Rumble, WWE has access to the Alamo Dome, and they're only using half of it. Mm-hmm. Why are you booking such a big stadium where you can have such a big event like the Rumble, and you're only using half the damn dome? Put the whole thing out there. Like, you got this big stadium, you're making this plan. Look, if you're scared off by what happened in Vegas with Money in the Bank, that's Vegas. Yeah. That's not a town that's like known to be a wrestling hotbed. People go to Vegas. The tourism's buy tickets and attend events there, whether it's wrestling, MMA, whatever. I mean, the only locals you really get are the Raiders, even though that's out of town, and the Vegas Golden Knights. But for an event like the Royal Rumble, it deserves the big stadium treatment, and it's just kind of disappointing to me that we're only using half of it. You're going to have in an Alamo Dome that can seat way more than Minute Maid Park did when they had it there for Edge's return, and you're going to have a lot less, not even half of it. So it's very disappointing to me. No, I don't plan to attend because the ticket prices were atrocious. The cheapest ticket was $75, and by the time I was able to get on and get tickets, like the cheapest one available was $300, and that was still upper level. So yes, the Rumble is excited to be in town, but I'm just disappointed that they're not using the entire Alamo Dome. Mike, you and I, there were 97 when they used the whole thing. They had it set up for 71,000, and I don't see why they couldn't do it again this year. And it's like the entrance ramp was very long. They did it on the side too. So
you're saying they're using half the dome. Are you telling me that high school graduations are about to outsell or out populate the dome as compared to the Royal Rumble? I mean,
pretty much.
I mean, you get all the familia, the tios and tias and primos and primas, and I mean that's pretty much a Rumble crowd if you need. That's just for the graduation.
I mean, you're gonna have more people attending the UTSA game than the freaking Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
and shit, I'll go a bit further. You might even have more people attending a Texas State game in San Marcos than you would. So it's just very disappointing to me. I'm not happy with it. I really, you wanted, this was like your first big major stadium. This is your first big Rumble on the road to WrestleMania under the Triple H era.
But wait, does that mean they're going to bust out the blue curtain with David Robinson and Johnny Moore on it?
They'll probably have some there. I imagine they will because they probably have the hard cam there.
Jason, definitely. I hope there's some of that stuff going on that weekend and that we can take advantage of.
Yeah, I do hope so. I hope maybe the convention center they transform. I'm sure the convention center is going to have access. I'm sure there'll be some indie promotions getting involved somehow. And then Jason also had to say people should subscribe to Wrestle Universe and watch.
Yeah, Wrestle Universe is the DDT. So, I want to get that one too.
Before we sign off, can I share my screen and add one more piece of news that connects to AEW and kind of my 1 minute warning?
Sure.
Okay, let me see if I can do this.
Okay.
I tried.
Let's see if Mike figures this out. Oh, there we go. Tell me when you got it ready, and I'll share what you got. All right, there you go.
All right, so are y'all seeing the? Okay, wow. So first of all, because of baseball playoffs or something, they're going to be on Tuesday night, and this is the card, which matches look incredible. But I found something really interesting in that bottom corner. Because as you know, I don't think we added this to the news. Renee Paquette debuted as a member of AEW's broadcast team.
Oh yeah, we did
Wednesday night in her home or home country of Canada. I forget exactly if it was her hometown specifically, but in her home country because she is Canadian. Yeah. Now it says she's going to sit down with Bryan Danielson and Wheeler Yuta, which I find very interesting because, as I was mentioning the Daniel Garcia storyline, when Bryan Danielson came back from his injury, I wasn't sure if he was still considering himself part of Blackpool Combat Club because he was kind of just coming out American Dragon, doing his own thing. And it's like he was pursuing Daniel Garcia because he saw something in him. That was just what, Wheeler Yuta had just gotten that treatment. They made a, big star, good star out of him, someone that you can justify seeing in the main event title matches and stuff like that. And I suspected at one point that they especially when Daniel Garcia won the Pure Championship, ROH Championship from him, that they were going to do the double switch, and that Yuta was going to turn on them because it's like he got abandoned, joined JAS, and they didn't. He stayed in the ring or whatever. But I find it interesting here that they're going to have those two in the interview. I wonder if maybe that is the story they're going to pursue with this thing, and it's not just going to be dropped with Daniel Garcia going back to JAS. I wonder if that's going to cause friction with Wheeler Yuta and some of them in here. So I just found that kind of interesting when they posted that for the Tuesday night special Dynamite. I'll go ahead and stop sharing there.
I do know they I think it was Moxley or Claudio and Yuta or someone came out after he lost to Jericho to help him out because
they were in the ring celebrating a bit, and Daniel Garcia just turned, and Garcia, it was at least Garcia and Claudio, I think, came down, and Wheeler and Claudio came down, and Wheeler was kind of staring down Daniel Garcia. So that's. I hope it's not Daniel Garcia's back, and that's where it ends. So, but that should be some interesting stuff on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for watching this week's episode of the WrestleCast. I know a day late because of issues with Restream. Thankfully, it was working today. As far as what we're doing next week, well, honestly, we have no idea. This is kind of where we had like a whole bunch of pay-per-views in a row, and then it's kind of getting a little break here for a bit. So, maybe we'll come up with something. Look, if you got any ideas or something we could talk about.
Simple.
Yeah.
We show up next week. We'll talk about wrestling. Join us, guys. Throw out questions, whatever. We'll just no script. It'll be a shoot. We'll just say whatever we want. There won't be. Oh, there wasn't.
I mean, see what other wrestling news comes out.
If we put out what people like want to put out like tweets and stuff. Say, hey, you guys want to ask us questions, and we'll just answer them live next week. We can do that too.
We haven't really done something like that. That would be kind of cool. I know one of our first WrestleCast episodes was like a getting to know the WrestleCasters episode, and that might be kind of cool to do something live like that.
Would next week also be the time that a new image gets debuted officially on the show?
I'm trying to find a good spot to debut such image as you speak. But yes, basically, we have a new WrestleCast logo. If you follow Mike on Twitter, I know he's kind of teased it up a bit. I'm working on getting the graphics here onto the show itself, but it was a crazy week at work for me recently. Steady knows what I'm dealing with.
I was totally going to do an Anchorman thing. It's like, and I also know what they're talking about. So.
Tommy killed a man.
Yes.
Then you guys just be like, Tommy, we mean to talk to you about that. You should probably be. Yeah, I had to try to stab the man in the heart.
So yeah, I'm potentially working to get a good title. I'm potentially working to get a good title card and everything built up. But I definitely, if I don't do it next week, I will say this: by War Games,
and that'll be our season debut.
Yeah.
Yes.
Season premiere. Well, hey, that's Survivor Series is kind of the anniversary when Mike first joined the show. Yeah, so
true.
I mean,
that's true. But
I just saw Jason's comment. So, yeah. What? No way. Did I miss that?
Oh, hang on. Let me see this.
That's insane. Get it?
What?
Yeah.
I see what you did there, Mike. I hope so. That would be pretty awesome. I'll be very happy. I know my daughter would be too. So
we did find out last night before we went to a stream that top 2 on your daughter's list, by the way, is Bailey, followed by Thunder Rosa. So kudos on your incredible parenting job, you two. You and Tina are clearly doing an amazing job with her. Keep it up.
Yeah.
You want to know who number 3 is? Orange Cassidy.
I mean, I'm just going to give you the award now. Yes.
She loves Orange Cassidy, so when he was on The Floor is Lava, she was freaking enjoying it so much. And honestly, like we're considering taking her with us to Dynamite for the chance that she'd get to see him
her up
live.
as Orange Cassidy.
Orange
Cassidy. Do it. Tina, please.
I'll see if she doesn't want to get dressed up as Thunder Rosa. We'll see. We'll see.
She be Audie Cassidy.
Look here. Okay, first of all, if Orange Cassidy's next T-shirt is him
holding
a championship,
that's the next shirt.
This.
It's gotta be.
Oh God, I
she
can't
be
wait.
like Narajo Cassidy, or
yeah.
She is taking the language. Yeah, that's very true.
Oh yeah. I forgot that. Yeah,
I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. It's first of all, it is a nice little Christmas present. Yeah. So, but it's right before we actually travel to go out of town to visit some family. So. I don't know. It's in discussion. I don't know exactly when tickets are, so we're going to look that up and just kind of.
If I saw correctly, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So maybe a month before the show.
How Christmas is supposed to shape up, but but really, if all I get for Christmas is tickets to Dynamite, I'm good.
Look, Mom and Dad, if you don't get a gift, surely you want me to be happy by going to this wrestling show, right? Because every parent wants their kids to be happy. Yeah. So if you don't get the gift during Christmas, but maybe the next month.
Even your 41-year-old kids, guys. Yeah.
Hey, I'll play that card if it works. I don't know.
I mean, my mom plays the you're my little boy until you're 100 years old card. So
both my parents do that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. They're
yeah. Jason, we mentioned it last week. Rest in peace, Tony Noki. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thank you everyone for watching this week's episode of the WrestleCast and being patient with us. It was a day later than usual due to some issues with Restream, but thankfully it's working. As I mentioned, next week, stay tuned to Twitter. We might throw some ideas out there. We're going to discuss amongst ourselves and potentially could just have a whatever you guys want to talk about kind of show. Just kind of go from there. That actually could be fun. Yeah. Just kind of shoot the shit basically. So, thanks again. Over here, we got
good night, all.
Yeah,
thanks, guys.
We got Mike, and I'm JC. And as always, heels and baby faces. Remember, pro wrestling is real.
People are fake. Boom.
God damn, Tommy.
Adios, Gunther. That was good.